Dr. ARNSDORF. We're going to be visiting the Pipe Stem Spa today, run by Anna Ferraracci. And we're going to take a tour of it. Now don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Even when our heroes fall, teach the children they are warriors. Let them stand when justice calls, and leave my bones up on the mountain. Send my spirit out to sea. Let my people know my journey. Bury my heart and wounded knee. Bury my heart and wounded knee. Come on. Bury my heart and wounded knee. Bury my heart and wounded knee.
Well, welcome back. And now I want to share with you some of the things about the American Indians. They had a unique system of healing with all their herbs that didn't have any side effects at all. And the medicine men were their doctors, and they were the ones that dispensed these herbs. Also, they had sweat lodges where they detoxed. And this was not only detoxing their bodies, but it was also detoxing their minds. It had a spiritual effect. And then they also had the powwows where they would dance in circles with their feathers and full dress. And these were to invoke the spirits, right? And this was part of their wonderful, colorful ceremonies. They wore headdresses of feathers and beads, and this brought them also closer to nature. They wore sometimes masks, like with animal masks. They were very close to, gave themselves names like wolves, etc. So they were not separate from nature, like we get separated from nature with all our buildings and the cities and the pavement. Everything to them was round like nature. And it was connected, and they had a very strong connection to the earth. We want to explore the sacredness of burial grounds. This is where the Native Indians buried their ancestors, and they believed that their ancestors were spirits and they were still connected. People sometimes don't realize how important it was not to build on burial grounds because of the sacredness of these burial sites with their ancestors who they were really connected to because they believed in reincarnation and that this was a continuance of life. And many times people built structures on top of these burial grounds, and we just wanted you to be aware of the importance of this to the Native American Indians. I had the opportunity to visit Pipestem Nostalgia Inn and had a wonderful tour there. What was impressive to me was that the Pipestem Nostalgia Inn respected these burial grounds and respected the history of the Indians in that area, and it's reflected throughout the inn. So now, let me share with you a wonderful tour I took of the Nostalgia Inn in West Virginia. Wasn't that interesting? Now don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Well, every album has a different place in my heart for it. American Holocaust, I recorded back in 1994, and it was 10 songs that dealt with the Holocaust that took place in America, or as the native people say, Turtle Island.
Wow.
And you know, I just felt it was a story that needed to be told, not only for Native Americans, but for Anglo-Americans to understand, you know, the true history of this country and what was done, so that we can avoid those kind of mistakes in the future, because in my way of thinking, we haven't avoided those mistakes too often. We find ourselves repeating the same kind of things over and over and over again. Maybe not with the genocide and the Holocaust that took place against Native Americans, but certainly you can apply what happened to the Native Americans to what happens to suburbia as big corporations come in and just make it all pavement and roads and just overpopulate an area, which causes all kinds of issues, all kinds of infrastructural issues and everything else. So eventually, the people who were there in the first place in a rural setting are displaced they're forced out, they can't afford the taxes, or, they can't maneuver in that kind of new cultural situation where there's people on top of people, and that's never a healthy issue. So I wanted to do the album to kind of wake, not only, you don't have to wake Native Americans up, they know, but I wanted to wake, the white people in this country up to what actually happened and the kinds of misinformation that the history books give.
It was such an exciting trip for me. I'd like to take you back and show you more.
When I was out there, I was studying hypnosis and NLP years ago. And they had just brought this to the fore. I mean, they just started sharing it with the world. And
Oops, locked and shot. We need, oh, you're wearing tape on too, huh?
This is about as dining room, meant for dining room as it could be, right? But Jim won't let me move it.
What'd you say?
this is what? It's meant for what?
This is a,
Rattle?
no, it's a headhunter's spear with fork, what they eat with. And
Eat the people they
there's another
headhunted?
of his masks. And the headhunters, and this Samoa, I don't know where we were. But anyway, they picked these things up, and the people they ate had to be people that they admired. You had to have something really, a good quality about you. And
Oh
then
my gosh.
Americans. There were the Sioux, the Algonquins, the Mohawk, the Cree, and many, many other tribes. And, you know, their lands were taken from them, not only by the Americans, but the British and the French and the Spaniards and the Portuguese, and they have burial grounds that people have built houses on. And a lot of the spiritual and shamanic healing practices were spread throughout all these tribes. They used herbs to heal, but the one thing they had in common is that they worshiped nature. They felt that the trees and the animals all had a spirit life. The sky, the trees, and they respected nature. That is why they respected nature so much, and that's why they felt so close to and connected with nature. And if you notice, the totem poles had many of these animals on their totem poles. There were also in the south the Hopi, there were the Apache, the Algonquin I mentioned already, the Cheyenne were another tribe, and then the other ones went down in twos. I'm so excited to go again. Now don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
I have walked away that's highway. I have seen his urban store. Take another piece of heaven, just to build a shopping mall. Leave my bones up on the mountain, send my spirit out to sea. Let my people know my journey, bury my heart and wounded me, bury my heart and wounded me. I have seen great mountains crumble from the shovels filled with gold. Big rivers stagnant waters as we celebrate our soul. Leave my bones up on the mountain, send my spirit out to sea. Let my people know my journey, bury my heart and wounded me, bury my heart and wounded me. Let us always fight a good fight, even when our heroes fall. Teach the children they are warriors, let them stand when justice calls. And leave my bones up on the mountain, send my spirit out to sea. Let my people know my journey, bury my heart and wounded me, bury my heart and wounded me. Come on, bury my heart and wounded me, bury my heart and wounded me.
Well, this is the last part of our tour of the inn, and I hope you enjoy it.
So,
This is a nice picture right here. That's the washboard scene.
get this one up here.
That's
And the
in
lighting-
Mexico.
the lighting, I need-
Let me see, they're just all mixed in.
Okay. All right, now I'll go do that later. Let me get the room you fixed so that you can be finished with that. I like this picture on the wall here.
Yeah, and that's a local scene, natural.
Okay, and hold on, let me get the name title, Summers. Okay, now go ahead and tell me.
Okay, behind the door This is a vintage dress. This started by having one of our friends bring her prom dresses from the 60s here. And we began to display prom dresses from the 60s and 50s. And they're cute, aren't they?
Yeah, they're adorable.
Now, this room, Summers County, what we've tried to do is put information from the county, authors, books, anything we have about, that would relate to Summers County, we can put in this room. We do that.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
And this has, is this got its own bath?
Yes, that's it.
Wow, look at that. And there's Marilyn on
They
the
all
wall.
have their own baths.
Wow. Oh, they do? That's what I was wondering. So all the suites have their own bath.
Actually, we
Have
open
like-
the door and look inside.
Oh, it's pretty though. But see, I can't be in my, I don't want to be in my own shot. Because I look like I'm a tarot card reader, which is why I came over dressed like this. I was going to read cards for people, because I read for free. I cannot charge. Truly, is that the truck out the window that he's talking about? That's the red truck.
That's it.
So just for any case I forget it, I'll just take a shot of it now. And in that way, I have it, and I don't even have to go out in the rain. There we go. You can ride the truck up and down the street. Okay. All right, so this gives you an example. It's like a nice-sized room.
Jim is always finding something like that. See, little tap shoes that remind him of when I was a little girl. And these are very old. These are the, I think they're military, I'm not sure. Girls. Where we travel, this is the most famous painting that you see when you're traveling throughout Ireland.
Oh,
And
wow.
you can't leave without the Caramera girl
Oh, wow.
painting. So I bought it and then had it framed. This is a king. It's not too bad, but it's not made.
Okay, but that's okay. Give it a little taste. Let me get this one, this Mingo.
Collection of old hats.
It's a really cute little couch there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then the cap. So you can tell me about the hats, okay?
Well, I don't even know. I just got the idea from an antique store. And
You have to come to my daughter's mother-in-law has a shop in Fredericksburg, Virginia. It's an antique place, and she collects dolls. Okay, so she collects a lot of dolls.
I'm just going to show you this room. There's no point in taking pictures for it.
Okay,
Oh, I'm glad I
these are pickup shots of you cleaning.
Well, that's what
Let me
it's all
put
about.
that light back on. Let me get that tub, because that tub is a collector's item in its own self. Yeah, let them see that some have the modern and some have older.
Now, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I read some of your stories through the articles that you sent me online, and it was just like a lot of things that like really I could relate to, because being as though my family is also Native American but of Cherokee. I was just touched by some of the stories, especially the one that you told about your grandmother.
Okay. Yeah, Native American, as far as I know, I don't have any Native American blood myself. I always felt an affinity to Native American things from the time I was a little child, from some of my first conscious memories on up through my life, and it's always been a thread in my life. The issues that I dealt with, gender issues, were always with me from a very early age. So those were two threads, and music was the third thread, that I was always interested in performing my music. And I even started writing songs when I was in 4th or 5th grade, and kind of silly songs, but I did try my hand at it, and I was taking various instruments and learning. My grandmother, the woman in the man suit, which is this album, she was a big influence on me, and we spent a lot of time with her as both my parents were working together in the family business. And so during Christmas period, my mother would work with my father when there was a lot of business and he needed the help. And so my grandmother was always with us, and she wanted me to read, and to encourage me to read, she gave me a book on Crazy Horse, a children's book on the Lakota warrior Crazy Horse. And read it, and piqued my interest more. I liked the cover of the book, you know, real simplistic, childish kind of attractions to the whole thing, but I liked the story. And
Yes, and the Native Americans, they had shamans, and their shamans were the medicine men, and they did a lot of healing with herbs, but they also did a lot of healing with energy, and they believed that the energies of the trees and the sky and the land were really important, and was a continuation and an interaction. And also they believed a lot in their health because they had their sweat lodges, which refined their minds and their spirit, as well as getting the toxins out of their bodies. They were nomadic people, so they moved from place to place, so they really weren't attached. They didn't have greed. They were very giving people, because if you liked something, they would just give it to you. And this was a wonderful quality of sharing that they had.
So say, no, don't go away. We'll be right back with more.
Now, don't go away. We'll be right back with more. As you've seen in a lot of Western movies, it wasn't only the white settlers that took advantage of these lands, but you know, there was the British soldiers, there were the French and the Spaniards and the Portuguese. So it was really global. Even though we didn't use the word at that time, it was a lot of different people. Now we want to just list some of the tribes that you may be familiar with, and there may be some that I have left out, but there were the Mohawks, the Algonquins, the Crees, the Sioux, the Hopi, the Cheyennes, and the Indian tribes were the Cherokee, the Cheyenne, the Apaches, the Hopi, the Pueblo, the Cree, the Mohawks, and there could be many more that I haven't mentioned, but you could always look those up. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour, and I hope you enjoyed the Healing Platform, and we'll see you the next time. Till then, this is AUDRA ARNSDORF, your host, saying goodbye.